Hi, everybody. I mean, it's Halloween for us. It's not Halloween for you guys. I didn't mean to do my sideshow bill or whatever that was there. Krusty. It was I don't know what it was. Halloween sucks. I hate Halloween. I'll say it. That's my hot take of the night. You can turn us off now if you want to. Almost in Agreement at gmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to your favorite website or podcast provider. We're on all of them. Share us with your friends. Do what you can do to support the show. We're going to keep doing what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the stuff we talk about. And we hope that you enjoy. This episode is not brought to you by Halloween because, like I said, Halloween sucks. Although it does usher in the season of fun stuff. So it is the official beginning of the real season of holidays and whatnot. So here we go. I have to start out with a hey, buddy, what's going on?
Hey.
And then I have to quickly follow the hey, heys with what's new. Talk to me about stuff.
Not much.
All right. Then now that we got the official parts out of the way, congratulations, City of Knoxville. Old people are making decisions for you, as all elections do. So if you like how old people think, then you're going to get the candidates that you want.
They did an age breakdown? Huh?
Yeah, so the Chris Davis sent me, exclusively me, not every person who signed up for his newsletter or anything like that, just me. The totals of all the early voting is officially in. It's tallied. It's all that kind of stuff. And there is some neat stuff to break down in this conversation. But the first thing I always see whenever I look at one of these is 70% of the total, 73 or so percent. I did the math earlier and I forgot my exact numbers. But of the 10,855 votes cast, 8,475 were 55 plus. So, yeah, 76% of something like that of the voters are old people. And, I mean, I say that knowing that I'm very quickly approaching becoming part of that bracket. I am on the top end of the bracket below it. I understand that.
Right.
Actually, no, I'm dead center in the bracket below it, I think, mathematically. But I get a little closer to it in a couple of days. But, whatever. It's just, like, I get it. I am the person. I am one of these people that I like to bitch about that, spent my 20s not paying a bit of attention to this shit, and most of my 30s not paying much attention to this shit, and all of a sudden my 40s, I realized how much it actually matters and how important it is to pay attention to this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to do good due diligence. Don't make the mistakes I did, kids. 423 18 to 29-year-olds. 423. There is I think there's about 90,000 registered voters, 95,000 registered voters in the city of Knoxville. Of 180, almost 200,000 residents. Like I said, you always figure in about 40 to 50% are under or ineligible, meaning like 17 and down, or felons that that haven't gotten their rights restored and stuff like that.
Right.
And so the registered population of the city is about max. It's pretty close to the top of what is statistically likely. And so Jesse put it on the Compass podcast today. He put Scott and I on the spot and made us pick over under 25,000 total votes. Both Scott and I went under, which Jesse said I was going to go under too. But since you guys both went under, I'll take the over. Yeah. Because I think one of the big things, and because it's neat, because you get this thing from Chris Davis. So to break some of this down, one of the things we always do as dorks that pay attention to this stuff is you look at similar elections. And so the closest similar election theoretically is 2021, 4 years ago, when this same slate of candidates was on the ballot. But that's not really a good comparison because everybody who is in a seat right now that is vacating was an incumbent running again, which, the power of the incumbency is a real thing. And people turn out in lower numbers when it's incumbent vote because they know the incumbent's going to win. And it's like, whatever. So the real comparable here is the 2017 ballot. So we're kicking the shit out of that one. So 2025 has 10,855 early votes. The 2017 comparable was 4,324.
Damn.
But the one in 2017 also didn't have a ballot initiative asking about taxes on it.
All right.
And so that to me, Jesse and Scott were like fully dorking out about what these numbers mean by district and stuff like that, because if you look down at the next one, District 5 doesn't have an election. They only have the ballot initiative. Because District 5 is not on the ballot for the city council. It's just they have that one item they get to go in, say yes tax, no tax, and get on with their day.
I saw the city put out a statement about, I guess, guaranteeing like $10 million to go towards
that did pass on its
or
right. City council passed that on its second reading. That if this thing passes, an additional $10 million to the current $5 million that the city is guaranteed to put into their affordable housing programming, an additional 10, so the new total will be 15 if this passes.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of a weird. I mean, great, groovy, whatever. Because that's one of the complaints from some of the people that don't want the taxes. Like nothing's guaranteed. It's just going to be extra to the general budget. And so all the things that Kincannon says she wants to do with it, she will have 1 year to do anything with it because she will be termed out. The budget's already in play for 25-26 fiscal year. So if this tax goes into effect, it wouldn't go into it. I don't think it would start collecting until July of next year. At which point the new city fiscal budget 26-27 will be out, which Kincannon does get to be a part of. And I guess she technically gets to be a part of the 27-28 budget, but the 27 budget will come out and go into effect on July 1, and she will be out of August in November a couple months later. So she'll have 14, 16 months to use some of this money how she wants to use it as mayor before a new mayor is coming in to take over. Thanks, baby. You're the best. So anyway, she'll be and so anyway, one of the complaints for people was that it's not guaranteed to do the things, and so Kincannon tried to respond to that by saying, well, we're going to do this part. The weird thing is the city already guarantees $5 million in affordable housing spending, and they average like 15 or 20 a year anyway. So even if they get this new funding, they're already spending 15, 20 million a year.
Yeah.
And now they're guaranteeing it, which is nice, I guess, but they're already doing it. And so it doesn't, I guess my point is it doesn't technically really earmark that money to go there because they're already doing it.
Semi-guarantees they won't go under, which they're not likely to do anyway.
Right. Well, and if the only way they can legally can go under it is it's actually, because I think the ordinance is actually like 22% of the new sales tax revenue made will go into it, which is approximately 10 million estimated, because it is as a percentage of the income, because then they're not locked in. Like if this new tax comes into play and somehow miraculously, instead of the 47 million a year that they're estimating, it only brings in 15 million a year, well, they only have to put 22% of that 15 in, not 10 million, because if they lock themselves into a fixed number, then if they had some weird thing happen, they'd still legally have to put that 10 million over there, even though that was all of their money for the year or whatever. Okay. So I think technically, it's not incorrect that 10 million is what they're going to would be doing, but I think the technical verbiage of it is like 22% of the new revenues gained. Blah, 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 blah. But the number that they keep working with is that 47 million. So 22% of 47 million is right at 10. But that's one of those little thingies that they do. Yeah. And so anyway, like going back to the 10,855 early voters for a non-mayoral city race is pretty good. Like if we're looking back, the 2023 was a mayor's race, but that was incumbent Kincannon race. And so then the 2019 was the actual competitive mayor's race, the last competitive mayor's race without an incumbent, because Ruggiero was termed out at that point. So 2019 only did 10,878, so 23 more votes than this early voting cycle. And that's where Jesse made up his number, because total votes cast early voting and election day in 2019 was 25,614. And so my take on it when I said no, it's going under 25,000, is that I believe if you look at these numbers, and if you math it out, as city residents more than county residents, but as early voting is becoming more normal and more easy and more people are getting used to it, the percentage of total vote in early voting has been going up, where it used to be like 5%, then it was 7%. It's like slowly ticking up.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the last couple of cycles, city and county combined, it's right in the 50-ish percentile. So 10,855 times 2 is 20,000, 21,600, 21,700, something like that. My number that I think I threw out was like 22.5 or 23.5 was my guess, was my target of what I think we're going to hit in city voters. I think it seems the writing seems to be on the wall that the ballot initiative for the tax increase is probably not going to pass.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a sad sap, circle of people, but everybody that I talk to and hear from and stuff like that just hate the idea of it. And I only know the cool and moving, shaking, important people, so guessing.
Right.
All those normies out there, normies don't ask for a tax increase.
Right. I think most people not even looking into it are like, wait, I'm going to vote to increase my taxes? Like, yeah, no thanks.
Right. I don't know. See, I don't know, because I think realistically city voters, or at least a good chunk of city voters, are more engaged voters because there's such a low general turnout for city voting that the people that consistently come out and vote are paying enough attention to even know there's an election going on kind of people.
Yeah.
Like they pay enough attention to know that there's an election going on that they probably have at least a broad strokes thing. But I think, I think one of the other things too, it's like, where does the average 30 to 54-year-old get their news? I certainly don't think it's NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox anymore.
Right.
Or CNN or Newsmax or any of those things for that matter. I'm sure there are some. But it's like, I think News Sentinel would admit to this if you asked them. Like their readership under 50 is like 1%. Like they have no, like, I mean, I'd be curious to know what their digital audience is, if they have a demographic on their digital audience. But I would guess that even with the digital audience, they don't have a particularly large number under 50. I think old people still read the paper. My dad still gets the paper at his house.
Yeah.
When I go to the Y in the morning and the average age in the gym at the Y is like 60, 65, I'll be walking out in the little reception area or whatever. There'll be a couple of guys sitting there thumbing through the paper, talking to each other. That's the only time I see a physical newspaper anymore is at the Y. They've been calling me. They had a hard push a couple weeks ago. They called me like 5 times in 1 week. Oh, we got a great deal. We see you used to have Sunday only. Yeah, I used to have Sunday only. He's like, you want to get that back for $1 a month? No. I mean, I could Sunday only.
Coupons.
I can get I could at least get $3 or $4 worth of coupons out of that thing and make my money back, and I still don't want that thing. Right. Like, what does that say about your paper? I could literally make money on that transaction, and I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want the hassle of throwing that fucking mountain of. Well, it's not even a mountain. That was part of it, honestly. Like, it's gotten so small.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was a kid in Wisconsin, I had a paper out, and this was the Racine Journal-Times. Racine is a suburb of Milwaukee, but it had its own paper. This is back in the golden age of newspapers, I guess. We had our own paper, and it was like 3 sections on a weekday, and it was a lot of stuff where they were getting stuff up in Milwaukee and Chicago and compiling it. But then we had some local journalists doing local journalist things. But it was a full paper, and then the Sunday paper was a pretty honking paper. Like the fucking Thanksgiving paper was, I had to get my dad had to drive. Like I rollerbladed most of the time if the weather was good.
Really?
I skated the route, and we'd go drop it off. But like the Thanksgiving, my dad would be driving around with the trunk open. I'd skate it still, but we'd have them all stacked up in the back of the trunk, and I'd skate up to the trunk and get one, go up to somebody's front porch or shove it in somebody's box and get one because it was like 2 inches thick.
Right.
But like when we were getting the Sunday only, it was like a 1994 Racine Journal-Times Tuesday was what the Knoxville News Sentinel Sundays were when I was getting the Sundays. That's pretty bad.
Can't sell that ad space.
I mean, you don't want to what are you doing? Literally, like what is in that? Like, the headlines were the same headlines that I already get from Compass and stuff like that, which little tiny bit of local stuff the News Sentinel does. Some national story about Iran's pissed off at Israel again. Some this, that, and the other. The sports section was always the good section. That's really, like, the Sentinel to me is the sports section. That's all it really is anymore. But I just, like, it's anyway, the point is, nobody in the younger demographics are using the paper to get information about assuming the Sentinel puts some stories on the candidates and the races in them, which I think they do. Nobody's getting it from there. The local news TV coverage of it sucks. And so it's like, okay, how informed are these? I think you're one, my wife's one too, that she, one of the phrases, I don't pay enough attention that I don't feel like I should vote. I don't know who's what. I don't know who stands for what or who's doing what.
Yeah.
Which I can kind of appreciate that sentiment, but nobody's doing what they say they're going to do anyway, so what's the matter? I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of problems.
Gives you some kind of insight into either their process or their kind of advisors, I guess, political leanings or thought process.
Yeah. And at
least their goals are, which, may come to fruition.
Right, and for good or bad, Trump has ushered in the honesty in campaigning a little bit, because he said he was going to do some awful shit while he was campaigning, and ta-da, here we are. I'll take it. I would prefer to know. I would prefer an honest asshole than a kind liar, I guess.
Yeah.
At least I know what I'm getting. I know what, that is a shift in gears. I argue with Max about that. Or I'm sorry, AC about that way back in like episode 5, when we were having a Bernie Trump debate, and it's like, which I didn't vote for Trump anyway. I just got to make sure I say that part first. I got to disclaimer that. But the argument was like, would you rather vote for Trump or Bernie? It's like, well, Bernie, you know what you're going to get. And you could hate all the policy things you want about Bernie, but you know what you're going to get. Trump at the time, we had no idea what was going to happen. And my stance at the time was like, I'd rather take a guy that seems a little bit more malleable, like Trump, and see if we can't societally push him towards some of the things we actually want, than the stubborn man that is Bernie Sanders. Now, hindsight 2020, wrong take. I'll 100% own that one.
But at that level, they're throwing out all sorts of kind of like policy thoughts and what they would or wouldn't do.
Right. And I mean, like, the audacity to think that there could be some sort of organic groundswell of pressure that Trump or Sanders or anybody else would actually bend to is its own naive thought, and that's on me, and I apologize for being dumb in hindsight, but not really. I don't know. Wouldn't have made a difference. I didn't vote for either of them anyway. I think that... Is that the election that I voted in for the Democratic primary that won't let me run as a Republican for? Might have been. I might have voted for Bernie. I think I voted for Tulsi. I'm trying to remember. I didn't remember. Yeah, that would have been the 2016 primary. Or was it the 2020 primary? Eric, Eric, you looked it up. Matt looked it up too. Happy birthday, Matt Cheers, by the way. He's a Halloween baby. I didn't realize. I don't know if I knew that before or not. It's my favorite thing about Facebook in my old man status is that people who put their real birthdays in Facebook, I don't message them in Facebook. I text them separately.
Right.
Partially to pretend like I didn't get reminded on Facebook on that it was their birthday, that I knew it was their birthday because I am that good of a friend to them. Mm-hmm. But also, if I'm gonna say happy birthday, I want to be more personal than a Facebook thing.
Because I know on the wall, then everybody else knows that you know that.
Right. And then 2 days later, you can be like, thanks for all the birthday wishes, everybody. So, yeah, voting is closed. The total is 10,855. I'm going to guess about 23,000. So another 11,000, 12,000 day of. I'm going to say Lloyd wins 3. I think DeBartle-Baden does end up winning 4, but not by as much as he won the primary. I think the referendum loses. District 6 is the only one I have no idea on, because those guys it's a 6 or half dozen race to me, as I've seen them. They do have some different thoughts and some different specifics, but if the Chilhowie Park exercise taught me anything, it's none of my business. That's East Knoxville, downtown. Us West Knoxville folks don't have a say. Ought not have a say. And to be fair, I'm not even a city resident, so I shouldn't have a say in any of it. But from what little coverage that I have seen, I did watch the District 6 guys debate on the Thursday morning or the Sunday morning WBAR politics show, which I don't know. Like, have you ever watched that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've seen bits and pieces.
It's like East Tennessee Today, or
right? Yeah. I know what show you're talking about.
It's kind of like a Meet the Press for Knoxville. So they try to set it up as, and so they have a Republican pundit and they have a Democrat pundit, and then they might have a guest on here or there. They've had the mayors on and off for different things. Usually, when one of the mayors is trying to sell something, they'll go on there and do it. And then Chris North, I think his name is, who is like WBAR's like local politics guru. And I don't know. I'm debating on whether this is a cart leading the horse conversation, or if nobody watches it, so I'm putting too much emphasis on the reality of it. But like, it just feels like the three of them with Becker is always the host. Like there's no, like, it just feels like the most milquetoast analysts take on everything. It's like, well, the Democrats are this and the Republicans are that. And I think the city residents aren't going to vote for this tax thing because nobody likes to vote for tax increases. It's like, okay, I mean, that's a very non-nuanced take, but when they do kind of get into stuff, it almost feels like they're leading the conversation instead of reacting to what's happening. Does that make sense? Like, it almost feels like what they say on the show is what comes to reality later. Like, they are putting the thought out there for the handful of people that bother paying attention, like, oh, well, this might be the right way to go about this because that's what they said. Instead of it being them responding to what the public or what the politicians are doing. And I don't know, maybe I'm just overanalyzing and maybe it's just nobody fucking cares. And that's the reality. Because, like, nobody fucking cares. And that's the reality.
I mean, you would assume those people are at least somewhat in the know. So, I mean, they may just be kind of repeating, pseudo party line stuff. Yeah,
they are. Like, they are the go-to. I mean, for what is arguably the best, like, television news station locally and has been for many years, WBAR, I think, does the best general local coverage. That's always the one that I end up watching. WATE and VLT have been getting better over the last little bit, but I think WBR is the standard in local news, I would say, in television news. These guys have been around the game for a long time, so I don't think they're making shit up.
Right.
But like, I can't tell if it's them pushing agenda because that's their job, or if it's them reacting to the reality. And because both of the Republican and Democrat they have are party members, part of the party leadership and stuff like that. And why wouldn't you, if you're the kind of the spokesish person for Knox County Democrats, why wouldn't you use the platform to start a conversation about a thing that may have no real organic swell, but the party wants it on front page? Rhonda Lee, speaking of party bullshit, got her stupid Charley Kirk memorial thingy into the county commission meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Forced to vote on it 7-1 to 3, 7-3-1.
One no voting.
One abstain. 7-2. 6-2. I don't remember now. Somebody was one abstention. Everybody was there. 11 member body. 7-3-1. The three Democrats said no. Terry Hill said, I don't want to talk about it. And then everybody else said yes, including Kim and Larson, who were both at the football game last night.
Huh.
With that dirty Democrat Shane Jackson honoring the 22 and 23 West football state champion Rebels, because Kyle Ward just didn't bother when he was commissioner when it actually happened. And I don't know if I'm not sure if that came out of this meeting, which maybe that's part of the takeaway. It's like the debate over whether we need to honor Charley Kirk in Knox County took all the air out of a Ken Schwal, a Bill Williams, a couple of high schools, state champions on different things. So nobody's talking about those things because we're busy arguing over Charley Kirk, which is why some of the commissioners are arguing we don't need to do this because it cheapens what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And so But I was working the football game. I didn't get to go say hi to the commissioner. So I did as soon as we got to halftime, and we got our little break as the chain gang goes. As my 5,000 squats I did last night, my legs are killing me. As soon as halftime teams cleared the field, I ran over to where they were at somewhere in the first quarters when they did the announcement, and I was looking through the stands and all that stuff because Kim's a Hardin Valley lady. She's been a Hardin Valley booster or whatever you want to call it for years.
Right.
And Larson J was there, and so they're both just there doing we're getting ready to do it. This is early campaign. Here we go. And then Shane Jackson, because West is in District 4 and whatever. And he was the one that put it up. But it seemed, at least as far as I could tell, they all skipped out as soon as they did their thing. Like, hey, everybody, congratulations, team. Out of here. Which that happens a lot. A lot of them do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't blame them. I don't know what Larson's bag is, but, Kim needed to get back up to Hardin Valley and talk to her students about not defacing public property at Farragut High School. See that story?
No.
Apparently allegedly, we don't know. There were some pictures floating around of the vandals approaching Farragut School's property and spray painting on some of the different things of Farragut's, like painting over one of the signs that says Farragut and then put HVA. In a nice powder blue, which is HVA's color. And so it could be a really good red herring that maybe Bearden did it, but put the blame on Hardin Valley.
Possibly, yeah.
Or Hardin Valley kids did it. I have mixed feelings on it. Destruction of property is not cool. Don't get me wrong. But a good high school rivalry, a little bit of mudslinging and stuff like that's not a bad thing.
I'm trying to remember how long ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like gasoline or something, but somebody came along at West football field and did a big phallus
on West football field.
Yeah.
See, that's
did something fucked up the grass that ended up costing a lot of money.
Yeah, now they have it's a fake field. Most of these high schools have fake fields now.
Is it?
It's very weird. It's comfy though. My knees don't hurt. It's my muscles that hurt from squatting. My knees don't hurt from running around on the field. It's nice and soft. It's squishy.
Yeah, I think they've gotten better.
But Superintendent Reisig was there. I said hi to him. I did have a fun. So, as this little thing was happening on the field for honoring the previous state championship team or whatever, one of the other guys in the chain gang was like, "Yeah, Larson's a good dude. I think he's running for mayor. And then that Kim chick, she's running for mayor too. And then there's this other one, and she's the worst." And I was like, "Yeah, she's a fucking psychopath." And then we were sitting down after halftime, or during halftime. I tried to find him, couldn't find anybody, and so I went and sat back down and I was stretching out a little bit because it was literally my legs were killing me at halftime. I had a whole another half to go.
What are you squatting down for?
I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
I was the tag man in the chain gang. It's a very important job, and in the 4 games that I've done chain gang for, I've always been on that duty. And other than quarter changes, they've only used my services once. It's been interesting. Anyway, I was sitting down, I was talking to one of the other guys about it, and I was explaining to him that I'm a dork on local politics, and I do this podcast, and I produce these other podcasts and that kind of thing. And I was like, one of the things I think that I need to do better at, and that I'm bad at, because I mean it this way when I say it, but I don't articulate it, and maybe that's a problem. I don't know if Betsy's a bad person as an individual or not, but I hate her as a politician. So when I say things like she's a psychopath, I don't mean she personally is a psychopath as a human being. I mean her as a political public figure is a psychopath, a sociopath. I don't remember what I said. Anyway, whatever phrasing I used that was derogatory about her, I didn't mean it about her as an individual. I meant her as a public figure.
Okay.
And I think that's my general take on it. And I think there's a line that at some point, I would argue that most politicians start to become their public character. And so at that point, then yes, I am talking about both them as individuals and them as a public figure because they are that public figure. But I don't have any ill will towards Betsy as an individual, but I do have ill will towards Betsy and her political aspirations.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I think that's, or maybe she just crosses the line and that's a bad example for me. don't know, Matt Shears, like, he's one of my favorite people that we've had and I've talked to a bunch of times on the show. Like, I disagree with him a gajillion ways from Sunday on policy on how to go about doing things and stuff like that. But he's one of my favorite people that I've met through doing this.
Right. You can separate the politics from the person.
Right. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I need to maybe be a little bit more articulate in saying that Betsy Henderson is not a sociopath. Betsy Henderson, the candidate, is a terrible candidate. And you should just assume she's a sociopath so you don't have to worry about her doing sociopathic things as mayor. Okay, so chain gang, it's a 4-man job. All right, so you have the two ends of the chain, so the 10-yard markers. And then you have the box man, which is the guy that has the one that has the numbers on it that says which down it is, and it goes wherever the actual line of scrimmage is. Mm-hmm. And then the tag man. I don't even know if it's called the tag man or not, but it's this little clip, and it's got like a little foot long, piece of cloth on it that has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 embroidered on it, and you have this little slide. Right, and so when the ball is set for first down, the box man and then the first pole go to the first down marker, or go to the marker, or go to the line, and then the other guy stretches it out the 10 yards. Then my job is to clip that little thing on the nearest 5-yard mark to the original first down, and then slide that thing to which 5-yard marks it on. Right, so touchback, it's 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. So the box man and the first post are on the 20-yard line. The first down is the 30-yard line. I go to the 25 and clip this thing on, and I set my little marker to the 25.
Okay.
And so the reason for that is if the play comes over to us, like our instructions and what you do is you drop the pole and get out of the way and not get hit by these kids that are psychopaths and are going to break your legs and all that stuff. You just drop your stuff and get out of the way. And so when we're resetting it, we go to my tag that is marking the 25-yard line, and then everybody goes back to where they were. And that's how they find the right spot. Now, it's easy. In the example I gave, it's easy because it's right after touchback, it's the 20 and 30. But when you get in between markers and stuff like that, that's how you reset it. And you'll notice it if you're ever watching a pro game when they actually go out and measure, which they actually don't even do anymore because they have this new digital measurement thing.
Damn.
But when they used to do it, one of the guys would come out holding the little tag thingy, and he would put it on that 5-yard line, and then they stretch it out. It's not where the first pole is; it's where that tag is to the first down marker, because that's something they can attach. That's a direct mark spot where you can be halfway between the 19 and the 20, and depending on where the guy sets the pole down, halfway between the 19 and 20 can be any number of inches.
Right.
But the only time I really have been used, except for once, yesterday, was at quarter change. You say, okay, we're on the 25-yard line on the west end zone. Now I'm going to go to the 25-yard line on the east end zone, and then the two end guys switch places. But so my spot still stays on the 25, and that's how you know where to reset after the quarter change, when you're changing directions.
That's your squatting.
Well, yeah, because it's literally I got to bend down and clip this thing on the chain because it's on the ground.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I've done a couple games of it, and not yesterday, but the week before, one of the linemen that the referee that runs that sideline that we're on, part of his job is to make sure that we're doing we're in the right spots and stuff like that. And apparently he's an SEC referee too, but he's new to the SEC game, and so that's the starting point when you're getting into bigger program stuff.
Right.
And so he's done linesman work for college games. And one of the things that he learned doing that is they do 2 of these little clip thingies. So when you move everything, you take your second clip, put it on the new mark, and then go back and get your old one and take it off. Which now means I'm squatting twice as many times and running back and forth and trying not to get hit by players as they're running on and off the field and having to stand next to coaches. It's kind of funny. It's kind of weird because these coaches are on the yard, they're like, left, go left. Like they're screaming and yelling at the players out on the field. And then one of the other coaches is sideline, and that's their signal to get off the field so they don't get the penalty for being on the field yelling and screaming.
Right.
And so they'll start backing up and they'll bump into you and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. but they're like super intense, yelling and screaming at the kids, and they're like, "Oh man," like they're really timid because apparently
that's a foul to
right.
accost an official.
Yeah, and apparently one of the linesmen that we were working with yesterday had been made mention, and I don't know if he was referring to the team we were playing yesterday had a previous incident, or just happened to be a guy that he worked another game in the county where he had a problem with some of the coaches from A team having issues with the lines team, and like he's like, I know you guys are all dads of the home team. That's how everybody does it. But as far as we're concerned, you're part of the referee crew, and so we're on the away bench. You're always on the away bench. That's how it works. And so it's like, you get to spend the whole day in hostile territory, but they know that you're part of the referee team, not part of the home team. So if they start giving you shit, they're giving us shit, and I will protect you on that. It's like, cool story, bro. Apparently, one of the kids on the team we played yesterday has committed to University of South Florida. And there was a couple of their recruiter coaches that had come watch the game last night, and they were on the sideline. And so we happened to stop in front of them. I was like, "Hey guys, I got 4 years eligibility left if you need me." And they're like, "Yeah, are you fast?" I was like, "Did you not just see me? I just reset this thing and ran 20 yards down the field."
Right.
And they're like, "No, but I'll keep an eye out." And so we end up back down the field and come back in front of them again.
I saw a story in the past couple weeks about a 50 or 60-year-old person that was.
There's a movie that just came out that's a true story about a guy that did that.
Maybe that's what it was referencing.
I can't remember the actor's name, but you've seen him, big, bald, white guy. He was the dude. He played the Thing in the old Fantastic Four movie. I think he was also a cop in, what was the Baltimore?
The Shield.
Yeah. He was that guy from The Shield.
Yeah.
But that actor plays the guy that's a true story guy. Who went somewhere out west, Mountain West, like Montana or something like that. But there's a movie that just came out on that new, Christian.
But it's a recent story?
I don't know what the timeline of the story is. I think it's fairly recent, but not super, within the last decade, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still playing professional football. That guy's almost as old as me.
Yeah.
Or he is as old as me? I don't know how old he is. 40-something. Oh. I mean, Joe Flacco is out there winning football games. He's old. My favorite's Hayworth. He's a defensive lineman on Pittsburgh, and he's the same age as Aaron Rodgers. And they're on the team together. And so somebody's making a joke about how old the Pittsburgh players are because two of them are 40-plus. But, one of them's a defensive lineman. Big old dude out there busting heads all day. I think it's Hayward or Hayworth. Anyway. But yeah, so early voting has concluded. We'll go on to the general on Tuesday, which is my birthday. And so I'll follow up with, for my birthday, you can all go out and vote. And you don't have to get me anything. Just go out and vote. I won't even tell you who for. Except for funnies. No, I don't know. Yeah, go and vote for Melody Watts if you're in District 2, just to see if we can make up that gap. She's going to get trounced. I think she lost the primary at 80-20.
Damn.
I don't think she's making up that ground. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I don't expect any surprises. The only potential surprise, the only thing that I think could put somehow the tax passes, that would be a super big surprise. I think the only other the only real possible surprise would be Tallman pulling out District 4 would be the only surprise that is not. Wouldn't be so surprising because it's ridiculous. Everything else would be ridiculous. The tax thing passing would be mildly ridiculous. Melody Watts winning District 2 would be completely ridiculous. And so, it wouldn't be surprising. It'd just be ridiculous because it's so crazy. But Tallman beating DeBartlebaden, I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it's likely, but I think it's I think Matthew DeBartlebaden is definitely my pick as far as my prediction pick for District 4.
You're saying there's a chance,
but I think of all the races on the thing here, Tallman winning would be a surprise, but not completely out of the question surprise. County Commission delayed all their wokey bullshit. So the thing about the affidavit swearing that your nonprofit that takes Knox County dollars doesn't provide any services to undocumented citizens. Well, I guess they're not citizens by the definition, but
I saw a story. There was some pushback against it.
I mean, there all the pushback, and then the other, because there were two simultaneously. There's the affidavit one, and then the other one about I just blanked out on it. It was swearing that you don't use it. Fuck, what was the other one? Oh, and it was some some auditing and upkeeping, like some changing of the bookkeeping, like adding some bookkeeping rules. And so, like, a lot of the pushback is like all of these nonprofits have all sorts of bookkeeping they got to show anyway. Like, all we're doing is adding extra weight to what many of these nonprofits are fairly small groups that don't have a big staff or the funding to bring in high-dollar accountants to deal with extra numbers crunching. And then the other one, which the current District 6 guy, whatever, one of the guys on council made a really good, or commission made the really good points, Rawls, excuse me. He's like, so the way this is worded, if an illegal immigrant, or I can't remember what the term's used, but essentially, if an undocumented person went up to the ticket office and bought a ticket to go to the zoo would be violating this ordinance.
The zoo being a nonprofit?
Right, the zoo being a nonprofit that accepts county money. They would be in violation of the affidavit of proving that they're not, and it's like, we don't ID people to come into the fucking zoo, man. And which Andy Fox said that wasn't his intent with this thing. And maybe it wasn't, but again, in the current atmosphere about immigration and stuff like that, it doesn't seem that far-fetched that one of these, super conservative people will be like, no, absolutely not. Like, I don't think an illegal immigrant should be able to buy a ticket and go to a UT football game. Now, they don't take county money, but they take state money. Yeah. Under the same principle, it's like, I mean, I guess, because you don't think they should be here, I can follow you somewhat of your logic on it, but, like, you want to oblige UT to go through some rigorous background check before they sell somebody a ticket? How do you imagine, like, stopping that?
That was more related to, like, services provided. Like a food bank per se, essentially.
Right, but still, right. So, but right, I mean, right.
Essentially, any kind of like benefit going to an
like
undocumented
you have
person.
like CARM. CARM accepts county funds, and their service is to temporarily house and assist in homelessness. I wouldn't think it's out of the realm of possibility that some of the homeless of Knoxville are not U.S. citizens. Do you want CARM to
even semi-undocumented just because they don't have an ID with them?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that what you're asking? You want CARM to go through a rigorous screening process for citizenship before they accept somebody to use their services? Like you were saying, I mean, like, right, and just like on the surface of it, it's like, how would you even begin to go about that? Okay, say yes to that. Say, yes, we want you to make sure that they're all citizens of the United States. How the fuck would you even begin to do that? When you have a bunch of people that don't have ID, don't have documentation, like, if they did,
if they had information memorized, I guess they could. Is there a backdoor way to use like the e-verify system?
Yeah, but you give me a social security number, doesn't mean that doesn't mean it's your social security number, nor does it mean you're a resident.
Right.
But I would say, like, but is that what we're asking here? Like, is that legitimately we want to do as a county? Is be like, hey, CARM, no undocumented people are allowed to use your services. And then when CARM comes back, it's like, how do we do that? And like, I don't care, make it so, or you don't get our money. And CARM's like, well, we need your money to operate.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they do or they don't, but I'm just saying, like, and yes, you're right. There's plenty of other ones in play. I could imagine, like, I don't know how many different NGOs run in and around and use grant funding and stuff like that from city and county, well, the county in particular here, for all sorts of different stuff. Like, I mean, I guess theoretically you have like what was it? A couple of years ago, the city did one. I'm sure the county's done something similar where they've done like beautification grants, where like neighborhood associations could apply and get small grants to, pretty up their little entrance to their neighborhood, so you had a nice little pretty facade as people drove down the main street and saw, oh, that's the blah 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 neighborhood, like a Bexhill or a Farmington, the nice little thing out front or whatever.
Right.
And they offer grants for that. It's like, well, okay.
Right.
They do it sometimes. They do facade grants and stuff like that. Do like all sorts of little things like that to do whatever. And it's like, okay, well, we're doing this little beautification grant, and this homeowners association gets in on it, and they have a resident, maybe a renter that lives in one of the houses in the neighborhood that's not a citizen. Are they now violating that thing? Because they had to sign an affidavit. Now it's a perjury thing. It's not even a take the grant money back issue. It's now a criminal issue because you perjured yourself. And it's like, but like just logistically, like that was most of the pushback that I had heard. That was some of the major pushback I heard on it. Was like, just logistically, this is ridiculous.
Right.
I can agree with you in principle that yes, tax, city, state, federal tax dollars should not be used on non-citizens. I could agree with the argument of that. I'm not saying I do or don't. I'm just saying like I could follow that thing, but then there's like, okay, but how do you expect a small nonprofit that's doing this work that we as a county want you to do, and that's why we accepted your grant proposal and gave you a grant to do the thing. How do we expect you to fulfill this crazy requirement we're asking?
Right.
While this other
food bank, like people are just showing up and we're giving them a box of food. We're not
right.
That's can't have like an hour like vetting process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It's and a lot of them are faith-based missions. Can't remember who it was. One of the former county commissioners he was not a county commissioner. He was a school board member who not left school board, just didn't run again for school board to go focus on his nonprofit that does. It's like what is it called? It's like a something house. Like their mission is for better women and their kids to have a place to go to get out of the abusive situation, and they give them a place for the short term and help them navigate divorces or custody issues or all the different little parts and pieces to help them get out of this abusive situation,
right,
and then get them back on their feet and moving on with their life. And he's like, our mission is not to help American citizens. Our mission is to help battered women and their kids get out of abusive situations. That's right. The mission. I don't care. We as a group don't care.
Right.
And he followed it up with like a faith-based argument. He's like, I do this as in honor of my God, and my God doesn't care about whose citizenship is what, and which is kind of interesting because he's a left-leaning guy, but that's a very right conservative argument to throw out at him. It's like, this God that we say we both believe in, has called me to do this thing to help people, and you're telling me I can't. And it's like, well, that's not, then we don't have the same God kind of thing. It's like, yeah, get him, son. Like, and so those have been postponed for like a month, maybe 2 months, and kind of on the grounds of you need to clean it up and make it more specific and make it more understandable. Because for the Andy Fox one, like if you're saying the zoo can't accept people buying tickets that aren't citizens, then if that's what you want, so be it. But like, if that's not what you're actually asking for, then you need to rewrite it in a way that makes it legally make sense.
Don't they normally have some kind of lawyer go over whatever kind of proposal?
They do, and usually the lawyer's there and saying, well, like, because that's kind of like that's why it's good to have a diverse body in these things, because that's I don't like. How do I word this? For the sake of discussion, at least, let's assume Andy Fox is honest about what he's trying to do, and honest that he doesn't want to shut the zoo down for allowing illegal immigrants to use the zoo. That wasn't his intent in it. It's like, well, he wrote it and didn't think of it that way, and so when Rawls asked that question, he goes, "That's a point that needs to be clarified, and how do we work that out legally?" So, assuming Fox was acting in good faith and didn't actually want to do that, he didn't realize that he wrote it in a way that made that so. And so, by having the conversation, it's like, oh, okay, that's a good point. We do need to figure out how to tweak the language in here, because that is impossible to do.
Right.
Without, expecting the zoo to, have a rigorous IDing process on your way into the gates.
Before you come over here for fingerprints.
Right. Just wait here for 2 hours while
biometric screening.
Right. Wait here for about 2 hours while it goes through the screening system, and if you come back good, you can come on in and go see the tigers.
Right. Congratulations.
You can wait a little longer. What else we got going on? Bills are coming. It's the first of the month. Speaking of the first of the month, good luck all my Snap friends out there. If you're on Snap, you're fucked. Maybe. I don't know. There was supposed to be there was some judge doing something that may or may not have come out this evening. I haven't seen an update.
I did see that. I'm assuming it's going to get appealed.
Yeah. But basically, apparently, Snap has, back in some years ago, don't know how long ago, might have been the last Trump administration, might have been prior. Basically, I think the way I understood it was Congress had given Snap permission, basically, to build up a rainy day fund so that in future government shutdowns, they could dip into that to cover gaps while the government figures, literally for the reason that's going on right now. There is funding in the Snap accounts to disperse. But since that's under Snap's under Health and Human Services?
Probably. Yeah.
And since Health and Human Services is a cabinet of the White House gets the final say on what they're doing. So on some level, Trump's administration is saying, yeah, we know they have that money and they're allowed to use it, but we're not letting them use it because we want the Democrats to suffer. Even though mostly Republicans will be the ones suffering because probably more Republicans are on stamps than Democrats.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a breakdown. Did see a Republican state senator, I think out of Sparta, put out a statement kind of urging Lee to come up with something not to kick, because I guess Lee put out a statement in the last week or so, kind of warning that, there's a good chance
there was some
SNAP benefits will be cut.
I
think Paul Bailey, I think might be his name.
Let me see if I can find the overview. I got a little bit longer. Yeah. Not that button. Tennessee's Democratic state legislators are calling on Governor Bill Lee to convene a special legislative session to help people who will lose their federal food aid if the government shutdown extends past right now. This is from the Compass newsletter. If you go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe today, you will get this daily email blast, and it's great. I love it. It's my favorite part of the service. So to continue the sales pitch, this is a couple paragraphs, but there's a whole deep dive story on the website on it. That's kind of how you anyway, check it out. It's cool. According to the state's most recent report on participation in federal SNAP program, a total of 690,629 Tennesseans received benefits in September. That's about 9.5% of our state's population. 34,653 are Knox County residents who receive a collective $7.36 million in aid last month. We're heading into the holidays, said Rep. John Clemens of Nashville, chair of the House Democratic Caucus. 690,000 Tennesseans are going to sit at an empty table on Thanksgiving. That's unacceptable. Democrats are pointing at the state's $2.1 billion rainy day fund. Let's step into that and do some stuff. Apparently, Lee had said in a previous interview that the Democrats in Congress are the problem. And then he also said something about how they don't have the logistics to do it or something weird like that. And so, but Virginia's stepping up and doing one. There's some different states that have stepped up to cover some gaps. I'd still argue, man, I don't disagree with it. But all it does is prove Trump right that we don't need these programs because the states can handle it themselves. Great Smoky Mountains announced that they're going to be open to the end of the year now, I think.
Yeah, I saw they were furloughing some people that were staying open. I guess it was a part of some kind of agreement or.
Right, but so they've got but they're and so I don't know if I'm the White House, I'm like, why were we paying for this in the first place? You guys could pay for it without us, so you guys do it.
This article says I think nationally 1 in 8 Americans use SNAP.
Yeah, Well, I mean, if you're looking at, what did they say, 10% of Tennessee's population? If we're going to be generous and throw that across the voting demographic that Tennessee puts out regularly, either 100% of the Democrats in the state of Tennessee are on SNAP, or it's more spread equally across the population, and it's probably more like 20% of those are Democrats and 80% of those are Republicans. Or maybe ready to it, 20% of those voted for Harris and 80% of those voted for Trump. And the interesting thing that's like a thought process, like what did it say, $7-something million in Knox County alone. And there are rules on how you're allowed to spend that. What does that do to Kroger? What does that do to Food City? What does that do to... I mean, that's a lot of money for these grocery stores that they're not going to get because these people can't afford it otherwise. Now, I would say that some of that gets made up in other ways, but I don't know what I'm sure somebody out there, I'm sure Chris Caldwell or somebody like that could work some numbers for me and find out how many $1 million in revenue the grocery stores in Knox County do. It's probably a lot. I want to say I saw one time, I think it's the Kroger down here on North Shore in Pillissippi. I think their average day is like $250,000, $300,000 in sales a day. What percentage of that store is SNAP? I don't know, but across all the Krogers in Knox County, like the Fellini Kroger, what they commonly colloquially referred to as Fellini Kroger on Broadway there, I would bet that one is probably like 50 to 70% SNAP dollars. The one out on Martin Luther King out in almost into Holston Hills area. There's one Kroger out there on the east side of Knoxville. I bet that one's significantly SNAP dollars, a significant percentage of SNAP dollars. So what does that do to that Kroger? What does that do to the employees of that Kroger? I mean, that's a lot of money that these grocery stores aren't going to get. What does that do to pricing? Because it's a national issue, obviously. I don't know how many $1 billion a month goes into SNAP or gets distributed by SNAP normally. How many grocery, what's the math on what percentage of grocery store sales are lost when SNAP's not running?
Right. Like this article said, the kind of rainy day contingency was about $5 billion.
In Tennessee?
No, nationally.
Oh, that's in the SNAP funding.
Yeah.
All right, so that won't last
very long. A contingency
anyway.
fund with about $5 billion.
So that would
help keep the program going.
That wouldn't last but maybe a month tops anyway. But it still buys time. It still gets us through Thanksgiving at least.
Right.
It's a fucked up world we live in. It's kind of sad. But I don't know. I don't know what the solution is here. I mean, my gut reaction is I would prefer that it was a state thing. I would prefer that the state of Tennessee does all this stuff and we don't have it go through the federal bureaucracy. That would be my first take on it. I'm not opposed to the premise, but
it's the Department of Agriculture that administers the program.
Interesting. But I guess my point with the grocery store things, I would think that there is some pressure from these big conglomerate grocery stores. I would think.
You would hope, but I mean, the upside and downside of modern people, a lot of people have a credit card, so I don't know if there's some kind of hope that people would still just use credit card. Because, I mean, people still got to eat, so I mean, people are going to try to find a way.
Oh, you're right, but I don't know. I mean, I agree that I don't think they'll lose. I don't think Knox County grocery stores will lose $7-something million in sales this month, but they're going to lose a percentage of that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of just kind of small companies. They've kind of added in. I think saw something about DoorDash and some of those type of things. We're having discounts for people that were a part of SNAP program.
If you were SNAP eligible, we'll give you a discount.
Right.
I don't know. That'll piss off Or Republicans for sure.
I think there was a local, I think it was like Inskip Grill that was going to do like kind of free kids meals if you kind of came in with your EBT card.
I know our boy Yassine was out there giving free meals to laid off government employees.
What?
Which, I mean, come on, man. You're too nice. Knock it off. I mean, seriously.
Some people just have that in them.
The government threw you in jail and charged you with some crazy, charged you with some stuff, and you had like almost 3 or 4 months of like, am I going to jail? Am I going to get a major fine or be on probation for speaking my truth, or whatever? And the first thing you do is say, "Hey, if you work for the government, I'll give you free food." Well, if you work for the government and the government is not paying you right now, I'll buy you dinner. I mean, good on them. Don't get me wrong. But damn it, man. You're too nice. Knock it off.
I'm trying to remember last name. It's like Jose something. He's a famous like international chef that's big in America. I think he's from Spain maybe. But during the first Trump administration when there was like I want to say it was a good like 30, 40 days was the length of that shutdown. He was in like D.C. giving out free food to like federal workers that were furloughed and laid off or temporarily laid off, however you want to call it.
I think furlough is the technical term for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, like, I don't know that I would want to take a federal job. I'm sure the benefits are great and the pensions and stuff like that on paper are great, but I mean, we've had a shutdown of
twice a year when it's like, are they going to approve our new funds or not? Or are they going to have a continuing resolution?
Right. The anxiety would be annual at this point. Every year, are we going to get funded to keep our jobs, or are we going to get furloughed, or are we going to get straight laid off?
Right.
Is some new president going to come in and change the way we do stuff and kick me out and whatever? Which I don't necessarily disagree with that part of it, but like we've had a shutdown of some amount or other, at least a dozen times since the millennia. Some shorter than others.
There's only been a couple.
I mean, we had Clinton was the 90s. I think we had one during Clinton. Obama had one. Trump's now had two. We got close to one with Biden, or we did a really short one with Biden? I feel like we had a really short one with Biden.
Yeah, I can't remember.
There's one of those debt ceiling continuing resolution fights like they do.
Right.
I can't remember. Forgot. But I mean, anyway, regardless, like, every 3 to 5 years, we're gonna have you're gonna be furloughed for an indiscriminate amount of time, and theoretically, you're gonna get paid back. You'll get paid back pay if we make you work through it, but we can make you work through it depending on what you're doing.
There was a story about some single donor. At first they didn't release his name. I guess it was somebody that was at least friendly with Trump, donating like $130 million for to help pay the military. Which I wonder like how far that $130 million actually went.
It's really like a day or two,
right,
at best. And I mean, I was thinking about that because my kid going to Weston, the armory's over there. Like I think about I get the premise of having a National Guard. I get the premise of a reserve force and having extra people that are semi-capable of getting into some shit if we need them to get into some shit.
They're more used for like natural disaster type things.
Right. But like I get the premise of having it, but at the same time it's like, good God, people. Like, there's a reason we only have like 5 snowplows that the Knox County government owns. It's very rare that we need them. And it becomes a conversation of like, is the expense worth the handful of times we get to we use it and need it? And then like looking through the not very secure fencing that this armory has over on Sutherland there's a couple $1 million worth of equipment hanging out.
I don't know what all that is. Every once in a while they'd have like wrestling matches there.
They got some Humvees and stuff like that, but they've got some of the bigger trucks. Periodically they'll have like these different containers just kind of sitting out front, and you can tell that there's something going on with them. And I mean, it is probably, I would guess, especially on the military budget side of things, I would guess in like accounting real dollars, that is probably a $15 million facility between the building itself and the equipment that they have in the building, the materials and the training stuff. And
yeah, but I wonder how many people they have there on a day-to-day, because the typical like motto is, 1 weekend a month or whatever.
I mean, I see daily, there's a couple dozen vehicles there that are government issue vehicles that they sit around a lot of the time, but all the pickup trucks that come and go from there, it's almost always pickup trucks,
right,
that these guys that work there drive. I've never driven by on a weekday where there wasn't at least like a dozen clearly non-military issue vehicles that I'm assuming are people that are coming in for the day or whatever, admin or whatever they do there on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I've not been there on a weekend when they're on call or they're on a training weekend. I don't know that they train there anyway.
Okay, probably not.
And so, but I mean, the other thing, like we've noticed here, like we are definitely on some sort of route, and the missus was telling me that she's gotten to figure out what time of the day it is, because there'll be 2 Blackhawks that fly over 2 different times throughout the day, going the same direction, same time of day. So it's like 10:15 in the morning. She knows it's 10:15 because the 2 Blackhawks flew over. So they're running regular training missions out of the Air National Guard base down there with the Blackhawk guys.
Yeah.
And I see them pretty regularly. I don't actually see as many of the air refuels as I used to. I used to see at least a couple of them a day.
Yeah, those are big fuckers.
I don't see them as much, but still, it's like, it's just fucking money at this point. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's the problem with it. It's like, I don't, like, I get the gross premise of the idea.
Preparedness.
But this is on top of our actual active military force, which is the largest and most expensive in the world. And it's like, if our largest, most expensive military in the world can't do the job, then we're fucked anyway. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it just doesn't, like, the finances don't track to me. Like, the Department of War, because that's what it's now officially called,
right,
doesn't make sense to me. Like, just the math doesn't make sense. Why we keep allowing the math to do what the math does over and over again doesn't make sense. We are the largest military in funding by a mile, and arguably we're not that good anymore, like, functionally. When's the last time we won anything? World War II, which is before we even were the greatest military in the world. I guess we won the Cold War, argumentatively.
First Iraq War.
I mean,
that was pretty quick and over and done with. You could argue we won that one, but that was supposed to be more of protecting Kuwait.
I can't really accept the argument of a win when we're back at war with them within a decade.
Right.
But yes, I guess you could scribble that one in. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. It's like this, like, one, to me, and again, I am not an expert in geopolitical affairs. I am certainly not a tactical expert in the realm of war, but it seems pretty obvious to me that war, as we are prepared for, will never happen again. Not realistically. The proliferation of nuclear weapons has ruined the idea of 2 big armies running across a field and shooting at each other until one's dead enough that the other one gives up. That doesn't seem like a active reality in the future of war in the human race to me.
I mean, the Gaza and Ukraine conflict, you've still got a decent bit of like ground to ground fighting,
right? But then but I think Gaza is the perfect example. Is you have a unfunded mess of whatever you want to call Hamas, who is functionally holding their own, poorly but surviving. I mean, at this point with the ceasefire, they like on paper Hamas won. Now the entirety of Gaza has been destroyed and all that kind of stuff in the process, but Hamas won. They still exist.
Yeah.
And they're doing that. Mostly their best weapons were shit that Israel dropped on them that didn't blow up, that they repurposed and threw back at Israel.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they had some backing from...
They do have some different, like, Iranian and...
Yeah. Because I think they had like missiles that they've been firing at Israel.
Do what?
So I think they even had the missiles that they were firing at Israel.
But a lot of them, like I said, like a lot of them, like the actual warhead and explosive material is like shit that Israel dropped that they're rebuilding and doing shit with.
Huh, didn't know that.
But like ground war stuff, like the ground war part of it, Israel's rolling in there with tank. Like, you know, it's the same thing that the Afghanis did to us when we were in Afghanistan. The Taliban, I guess, did to us when we were in Afghanistan. Like, modern military forces don't work if the enemy is willing to play the game the way the Taliban did. They're going to sit there. You don't know if it's a villager, or if it's a guy that you're fighting against, and you're just like out there trying to be the good guy. So you don't want to shoot that guy over there because they all look the same to you at that point. And so you don't want to shoot him. And the rules say you can't shoot him until he shoots at you.
Right.
And by the time he shoots at you, one of your guys is dead. And it's like, okay, well, you can't really be like, I guess maybe the better way to put it is, in my lifetime at least, it seems to me that we have gone to war with ideas, and we're trying to go to a physical ground shoot guns war against an ethereal idea, because we can't for some reason beat the idea with better ideas. Like, we're at war with terror. And it's like, what does that even fucking mean? Like, what does it mean? What does the war on terror mean to you? Like, please.
I mean, I agree. It's a very vague term. It does kind of leave it, like, open it up to any kind of declared terroristic organization that we can just kind of strike willy-nilly. And that was kind of like the reason behind a lot of, like, just like the random drone strikes.
Sure, but like, I mean, but even that doesn't make sense, because it's like, well, what is a terror group? I have a hard time
usually
believing,
at least, like, internationally recognized, and some of it's just, America has designated.
Right, but like, I have a hard time believing that you could get a group of people together that say, we want to go out and kill and terrorize for fun. You know, like the Islamic jihadist, it's a religious element, and that gets a little wonky and complicated, and I could see that one being kind of in the terror, like in what normal people think of a terrorist group. It's like, but it's not. I mean, it is in the sense that they don't even bother with any trying to diplomatic, we want to talk and try to figure out how to do this better. It's like that is our holy land. Well, that's our holy land, and we're going to fight over it. And so this terror group is fighting for that piece of holy land, or this terror group, like, I don't know, like I don't know, functionally, what is the difference? Like, realistically, at this point, what is the difference in Hamas and the, the government of Jamaica? It's just the people that administer the state, make sure that, the roads work as best as they can figure out how to make the roads work. And, when, I don't know, Haiti comes over and starts killing people in Jamaica, the Jamaican government has whatever version of fight back that they want to have fight back, and that's what Hamas has done.
Yeah, I mean, Hamas is kind of an odd one in that I wouldn't want to call it like legitimacy, but they had kind of a political arm to where
right.
They had supposed elections. But I mean, you have ISIS and other things that they self-describe themselves as this organization that doesn't have any kind of like political arm.
Right. Well, but I think a lot of those, ISIS maybe not a good example, but maybe a good example. I don't know. But some of it is
something that's has been ascribed a terroristic organization.
I would assume that the history of ISIS is made up of, we tried to do it the other way, or we've done it the other way before and it failed, and so we rolled up this version, this militant group, because any sort of diplomacy never worked for us when we tried to do it. And that's what Hamas is. It's like the militarized Hamas group is the attempt of a Palestinian autonomy, and the Palestinian government to operate as a thing kept getting undermined by Israel and the West at large.
I mean, I'd say a lot are kind of like pseudo, like rebel groups.
We get pissed off and don't want to do this anymore. I mean, that's kind of how that's kind of how I took the Taliban originally with the Osama bin Laden kind of shit. It's like, you guys fucked around.
Al-Qaeda.
Huh?
That was Al-Qaeda.
Sorry,
yeah.
Thank you. But like, you guys, you and Russia had this weird Cold War thing going on, and you used us as pawns in that game, and I fucking hate you guys. Probably rightfully so. Realistically, like, if you lived through that your entire life, it's a reasonable thing to not like the people that put you in this weird situation because they were fighting over some idealistic post-World War II crazy world. And you had no diplomatic play in the game. You know, like, I don't know. I guess that's my problem. Is what's bottom line, like definitionally, what's the difference in Al-Qaeda and revolutionary, our founding fathers kind of thing? We told you we didn't want to play this way. We put it on paper. You didn't listen. So we started killing your guys. We preferred that we would have just killed a couple of your guys and be like, oh, they're serious about this and we'll talk about it. But you didn't listen. You just killed more of our guys. And so we got more guys. And
I think the story started with the British firing upon what would be Americans.
It was the Tea Party. If we want to play, if we want to do the U.S. history thing, it's like we had the we had the Boston Massacre, which was the British being, authoritarian assholes to us, and we fought back against it, and then they killed a bunch of people in Boston. And there's a bunch of different little sub-stories on it. But at the end of the day, the underlying theme there is like, we don't like the way you're treating us. We want to, we basically, it was the American Liberation Army, which if you put that in the Middle East or Africa, that's some rebel group. It's the same thing we did here.
Yeah.
And the superpower couldn't stop us. I mean, that's essentially we are the model. The superpower that was the British lost. That's weird. But basically a small band of terrorists in New England.
With the help of the French.
Beat the superpower. But that's not any different either. Because Al Qaeda was we created Al Qaeda, or the Taliban, Al Qaeda, as a militant group to fight the Russians in Afghanistan. That's where their origins was backed by the United States during the Cold War.
Yeah, was it the Mujahideen that were backed by the Russians? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. But it was just it was a proxy war between Russia and the United States that created this thing, and then this thing decided it wanted to be its own thing and didn't want any of our shit. And we're like, no, you're still under our control. And they're like, no, we don't want to be under your control. It sounds similar to me to the origins of the United States as I understand it. It's not apples to apples, but it's like apples to pears. That's I've used that one a couple times on here.
Yeah.
It's certainly not a citrus fruit. It's got a white fleshy inside. I guess we're in the Middle East. It's a brown fleshy inside, but whatever. I don't know.
More alike than they are dissimilar. Yeah,
I'm tired of people. Point. I'm tired of people being murdered under under our name, and having no recourse.
Yeah.
We how many I haven't checked on Melissa recently. Have you checked on Melissa? Ran through Jamaica yesterday, right?
So Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti have all been affected. They're essentially rebuilding now, or starting to try to rebuild. Yeah, I haven't heard a death toll or anything. But apparently it was one of the strongest for that area ever recorded.
Death toll climbs to 50 in the Caribbean as remnants of Melissa weaken.
I think we've killed more, quote-unquote, drug traffickers in the Caribbean.
Well, that was an issue. And we had a whole fleet down there in the Caribbean because of this shit going on in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Where in times past, we've had aircraft carriers and strike groups pull up to Jamaica, for example. Be like, hey, guys, we're going to fly some of these planes back to the States and pick up some supplies and drop some stuff off, help you guys out a little bit.
Right.
Which I'm curious to see. Are they going to stay on the Venezuelan, on the edge of Venezuelan waters to fuck with Maduro or whatever, or are we going to go out there and help our Caribbean neighbors? Which, again, fuck all of it, because the soldiers on those boats should be may or may not be getting paid, and or, we're going to have people not getting to buy food and put food on their table right now. But either one's a lose to me. I'd prefer if we're gonna not have options for our citizens here in our country to eat, I'd prefer that the spending goes to people in Jamaica and stuff like that to get help post a hurricane, then I would spending get spent on figuring out how to destroy this Maduro character that I don't care about.
Right.
if I was going to prefer. But I think if I'm going to really, really, really prefer, I'd really prefer that the people that need the help right here and my neighbors and stuff like that get the things that they need to continue with their fucking lives.
Aid's kind of a crazy thing. I can't remember what exactly it was in reference to, but it was with like international aid. It said, in some of the most dire areas, you're essentially, taking from the hungry to feed the starving.
Oh, that's a good phrase. I like that.
Yeah. When you're talking about limited resources.
Yeah. I was tired.
I understand you guys are in need, but we have other people that literally, tomorrow they could die because they have.
We got to figure. I don't know. That. I think that's. I don't know. Whatever. Get that. We got China. Trump's in Korea right now. I think.
Yeah, I think he's still over there. Yeah.
Trying to figure out. He's going to give up our. He's going to let us start selling our NVIDIA chips. The one thing we have that's better than anybody else in the world. Which that's crazy.
Still made in Taiwan.
Yeah, but I thought
there was a whole bunch of chips, something like 70-80% of all computer chips come out of Taiwan.
Yeah, but we've embargoed the NVIDIA chip to China for a while. China's been wanting their hands on it.
Okay.
And so it becomes this weird little question. It's like, well, we could sell them to them, and that's good on some point. But we could also not let them have them, and that's going to slow them down a little bit. But they're going to make their own either way. They're going to figure it out. That's what China does.
Yeah.
But maybe China will buy some soybeans at least. I don't know.
Heard they agreed to, but I've also heard a number of other kind of promises from other countries of oh yeah, we'll buy this much within the next year, and a lot of times those countries don't hold up to that kind of handshake guarantee.
I mean,
there's no recourse against it. It's
the Argentina story.
But you said you were going to buy this from us.
The shit that's going on in Argentina, and I should defend Argentina because they theoretically elected a libertarian president.
Yeah, they did just have an election.
But this shit with Argentina is fucking crazy. There was a guy.
I don't think who's President Milei or Milei.
I don't remember what it is. But yeah, I don't know. He's it's a mess, and why we spend $1 on Argentina boggles my mind. What does it matter? Again, it's the same thing. Same thing as the Venezuela thing. It's the same thing as the Ukraine thing. It's the same thing as the Israel thing. It's the same thing as all these things. I am not opposed to the premise of helping others. It's not a bad thing to do is to help others. And it's not a bad thing to do if you're going to make plays, there's national interest in making sure X happens. But at this point, if the track record is every time we intervene to try to do X, the worst possible outcome is what ends up falling on us, at some point you just got to stop. You just got to stop. I was telling Jesse earlier today the story that I told you last week about my dad and how I thought my dad was being kind of racist, but as I've grown a little older and I kind of understand what he's saying, it wasn't that he was being racist. He was my dad went to Vietnam. How many Vietnamese ended up in the United States post-Vietnam? A lot.
Yeah.
And it's not that my dad doesn't like Vietnamese people. It's that if we're going to argue that there's an immigration issue in this country, let's stop creating more problems around the world so that people want to escape them and end up coming here to escape them. At what point do we say, okay, there is some shit that's going on in Venezuela and the northern part of South America that does have impact on us. But every time we try to help, we make things worse. Maybe not even try to help. Every time we try to protect ourselves, we don't. Maybe we should just try a hands-off approach for a little bit and see if maybe things can at least stay stagnant instead of getting worse every time we get involved.
I don't know what our real beef is with Venezuela. Most see the leader Maduro as kind of like a dictator or whatever.
Right, there's dictators all over the world that we're not mad at. But, I mean, honestly, my understanding of it, at least, is it's a Florida.
It's play ball, and they want to have some kind of...
It's all about Florida. Huh. If you go into, the history of Florida and or in Castro, Cuban politics and all that kind of, what's it called?
The embargo?
No, what do they call them? I can't remember what the phrase is, but it's neoliberalism and post Cold War neoliberalism or whatever, trying to the evil that is communism and apparently Colombia or Cuba and Venezuela are very closely tied as far as the generic government things go. And so, like, essentially, like a lot of the ex-Cubans that fled Cuba into Florida have ties to Venezuela and stuff like that. And so, like, a lot of, like, Marco Rubio being a prime example, hates Cuba and hates Venezuela about as much. And, like, a lot of the old Florida politics, like the Florida political machine, which Trump is accidentally a part of because he moved to Florida, and has appointed a number of prominent Florida politicians to different posts, Marco Rubio being probably top example.
Yeah.
Hates Venezuela. The Crystal on Breaking Points said it, the way she put it, I think is probably perfect. It's like Marco Rubio wants to destroy Cuba, wants to destroy Venezuela, and has been just keeps floating different reasons to pick a fight with Venezuela across Trump's desk over and over again. And finally landed on this drug thing, even though it's a complete lie. Because zero fentanyl comes out of Venezuela.
Yeah. They can be vague and just say it's drugs coming out that are downstream or affecting America.
Right. And so that was the thing, is like, so, and apparently like there's some documentation to back up Crystal's claim, is that there's been some documentation that says he had kind of pitched a regime change thing in Venezuela like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I saw a story
because of X.
There was a story that came out that I want to say it was like the pilot of Maduro's like presidential plane. There was some attempt to like bribe or coerce the pilot to land in some kind of international airport. That way we could arrest him, basically. Because I think right now we have some kind of like narco-terrorism charges against him.
He's got like a $50 million bounty too.
Yeah.
I said, like, I don't know. I got like I don't know, like what the fuck does it make a difference? Like, what does it change anything?
I want to say it was like some kind of like UN, Human Rights Watch or something like that. Some kind of, I don't know exactly what to call it. Some wing of the UN, like the head of it came out publicly and stated that the attacks were extrajudicial and was calling on the U.S. to stop the bombing of these drug boats.
I mean, okay. I mean, like, I don't know how to respond to that.
I mean, something's better than nothing. There's at least, some kind of international recognition at some kind of point to at least,
Hey, Trump, quit being a dick.
Right. Won't go far, but I mean, maybe you'll have other countries that kind of like get behind it and politely ask.
I mean, the problem is that at the end of the day, who actually loses? Me and you are the only ones that lose. Trump doesn't lose. He does. He will continue on his merry little way.
Yeah.
And continue doing all the things he wants to do and how he wants to do the things and whatnot. So, and I guess at the same time, it's our fault. We put this in play, and it's our fault that we keep accepting this over and over and over again. But at this point, I don't know how to not accept it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, how do we unaccept it? How do we reverse the flow of I don't know, making our lives suck? Because
I did see he floated the idea of asking the Senate to take out the filibuster rule.
Yeah.
So there was at least some pushback from GOP senators that were like, no, it's a bad idea.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back local. Because I agree it's a bad idea. Kudos to some Republicans for actually staying their ground on that one. Because I don't quite understand the whole conversation. Like, I really don't. That's a confusing one, because that was a big thing the Democrats were trying to push when Biden got elected. They're like, hey, let's go ahead and shut this filibuster down thing so these stupid Republicans can't stop us from doing things we want to do.
Yeah.
But going back local, so apparently did a full, there was a full audit and work through and a whole bunch of reporting and governmental reporting, not news reporting, on the Richard Bean detention facility.
Did see that, yeah.
Apparently they held goats there for a while. So it's 100. There's 125 beds in that place. Their average is 120 beds. Their average is 20 a night, 20 to 25 a night. And so basically what they did, somewhat intelligently, I would say, is they shut down a couple of the pods or whatever they call the subgroupings of the area. And they just stopped using them, and they put everybody in this section. And then they did other stuff over there, which included apparently keeping goats. For what reason? Did it say? I don't know. There's been no there has been no reporting on what the goats were for. Scott's assumption is they were putting them out there to chew up some kudzu for him. I've heard of that. But for like companies that'll basically have like a large trailer of like sheeps and goats, where you can have them come out to your property. But like the number one takeaway from the report was the first thing we need to do is take the name off the building. Really? Like it's like the whole thing was so rotten. Like they just like didn't have supervisors, didn't have like enough people working, didn't have this, that, and the other. Like one of the ones that I thought was weird is like they fed them in their cells, even though they had a cafeteria. So they like avoided the idea of having any social time between these kids. Right. And for the most part, like of the 25, like 5 were long term. Generally speaking, it was like you got something happened with you today. You got picked up. You got taken in there. Tomorrow morning is your hearing. Right. And so you stay the night, and then you're out tomorrow morning at your hearing. Like truly violent juvenile offenders are there more than a day. Other than that, that's it. I'd say depending on your case, there's a lot of like delays in a case. You know, you've got your different kind of like level of. But case. Even that, like, it's got to be something specific and violent for you to be continually held. Yeah, to be held right. And the juvenile court, like, there's priority in the juvenile courts to get cases done much more efficiently than adult cases. Okay. And so, like, being remanded to your court, generally, unless there's some very specific outstanding whatever, you're going to get, like, custody of your parents until your court date, or, like bail's not. They don't set bail excessively high and stuff like that. You're going to get out and go home. Yeah. Because 9 out of 10 are getting probation, some sort of probation for what happened, whatever the crime was in the first place anyway. I want to see the article I read. I think that Larson J. put out a statement about the new report. That's like 75% of it was stuff we already knew about, pretty much. Right. Which is, right. It's stuff that spurred on this thing. And so, like, the first part of, like, there's just the logistics part of it. The first thing is that it's so bad that the sheriff said, I don't want it, like, I know you guys want me to take it over, and I will take it over, but you guys need to get some things in place before I take it over. Right. So the first part is it's going to come to commission next week or the week after to basically extend the interim period until July to give the sheriff's office more time to get the training and personnel in place to take it over, as well as to let the interim guy continue making the adjustments and changes to try to get it even close to any sort of reasonable standard before it gets taken over. But then the second big, like the number one big issue to me from the reporting is that it is way too much of a facility. It's too big for what they think they need, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like, the cost to keep up and maintain a facility of that size and stuff like that versus the use that it gets is too much. Now, personally, like, I was listening to Scott talk about it on their podcast today, and I'm thinking the whole time, it's like, well, then sell the whole thing off. Move that facility into something else and find a more appropriate size facility to take over. Because at no point, like, because apparently they already, of that 25 average a night, like, some percentage of those aren't even Knox County kids. They're bringing kids in from other counties that other counties are paying Knox County to house. Oh, okay. And so, like, we just don't need it. And it's just like we need to cut that building, like, which like, I guess the takeaway to me is that being in the bean machine of the old, I mean, that was the thing. I didn't make up that phrase, but that bean machine that is the old political thing that was Knoxville, Knox County, He exploited that to make a giant facility for no fucking good reason. And
it could be in conjunction with, I guess, to maybe try to look at the bright side of it. Maybe surrounding counties don't have a juvenile court system. So maybe it is beneficial for us to have a centralized facility.
Sure, but even though to
where we can benefit off of it if we have additional space.
It would have there would have to be some crazy huge uptick in surrounding counties need to pay us to house their kids for us to make sense of how big the facility is.
Yeah.
Like, again, of the 25 average per night, that includes kids from outside the county. It's not 25 Knox County kids plus. It's 25 total. Which, like, to me, that's like just like, get us like, I mean, I've driven by it. I've not stopped and looked at it, but it's a big fucking, it's a pretty significant facility.
I've driven close to it. I think when I was taking classes, I had some classes there at the Division Street in Pellissippi. Yeah,
I mean, it's right over there. Pellissippi campus is there. There's a park complex. The Young Williams Center's over there.
Right.
Tennessee School of Applied Technology, like the truck drivers. There's a trucker.
Is that over there?
I think so.
Huh.
There's a trucker thing there. They're doing a bunch of work on the Pellissippi, right? The Pellissippi campus currently. And there's some like big old cranes. They're doing some big work on the part of Pellissippi there.
Yeah, it's not a very big building when I was there.
It's about to be a bigger one at least.
I saw the main campus was getting some kind of like actual like medical clinic on site there for students. Well, side note.
Oh, I mean it's probably cheaper at this. Like if you're on the open exchange, it's probably cheaper to be a bad student at Pellissippi and use that clinic than it is to get Obamacare.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow. They were talking about that. Oh fuck! I didn't want to go back to the national, but they were talking about that on Breaking Points, and it's like, they're the silver plans that are available. Like the silver plans that they pulled up are available is like $30,000 a year in premiums with like a $12,000 deductible.
Yeah, I've looked at it a couple times over the past few years, and I'm like,
it's fucking crazy.
Even some of the cheap ones, I'm just like, this is expensive as shit.
Yeah, you get nothing for it.
I'm like, I barely qualify for it or whatever.
Right. It's crazy. Like it's crazy to me. Like
actually, no, I think I even still like not even making that much money. I think I still like didn't qualify to get any kind of like subsidies on it. And then, like you said, it's if you want any kind of like low premium, you've got a ridiculous deductible.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Period. Like we fucked up as a country on that because I think and the Democrats fucked that one up. I will blame that wholeheartedly on the left. The left, the union, like that is a union byproduct. That is a liberal byproduct of not entirely. Do what?
The subsidies they added into the ACA?
The problem with insurance in general is I think that the biggest thing to me that screwed up insurance is attaching it to your employer. I think and that is a left thing that they've done for years. They stick your boss with the things. And like I get the idea of it. It's like, well, like the assumption that the boss is making all the money and he can help out with this, that, and the other. Like I get the premise of that part of it, except for you're going to complain about the boss having control over you as the employee, but you've attached all these things to the job. Like realistically, like in hindsight being 2020 and some state regulations getting in the way, I wish I didn't. I wish I still didn't had my day job with Littman, and that their insurance was still my insurance,
right?
And some other parts and pieces of it that make sense that I would keep that job. Hated that job, hated being there, hated all sorts of parts and pieces of it. It was easy and it was not bad, and like it really wasn't that bad. But at the same time, it was like it took my time and attention away from stuff that I cared about, and my ability to grow as a human being, and all sorts of parts and pieces like that. But I mean, for fuck's sake, man! Like it was worth it just for the insurance.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Where you have to decide whether or not you want to stay in hell because the insurance is good. That's awful. Like, we screwed up as a country, and again, like, I put that all on the feet of the left on that one, because it is a Democrat thing where they attach. They were trying to, and I get the premise of where they were coming from, but it's like, like the H-1B visa thing we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's like the same thing. It's like, don't give the employer that power over the employees. You want unions. You want people that are caring. You want employers to, like, at some point, you want employers to be scared of their employees, right? You want them to want to take care of their employees. But if you make them take care of their employees, that therefore makes the employees dependent on them for the things that you're making them take care of them for.
Yeah.
Where people are hating their lives, hate their jobs, they don't make enough money to pay their bills, but the insurance is there, and they know that in the event of X, they're going to need that insurance. So they're going to keep just grinding that shit out. And it just doesn't make for happy people or comfortable people or any of those kind of things. And I don't know how to unring that bell. But I know I've said it on the show before. I think the first thing is you make it illegal for employees to insure their employees. And that's the first step. You just take that off. Be like, I guess maybe the first step is you set up some better version of the Obamacare thing to give people a place to go as soon as you say, like, maybe you figure out how to do it at the same time. Maybe the way to do it is you say, all right, employers, you are no longer. I think you figure out some legal way to be like, okay, for every dollar you're spending on your employees for insurance, you have to add to their pay, but you are no longer allowed to pay for their insurance. You're no longer allowed to give the benefit of insurance. I mean, I would be on board with the premise, and I'm trying to be fair with what I'm about to say. I don't know. I haven't thought this out very well. I'd be on board with the premise of let's make a law that says you are allowed to do nothing but pay your employees cash dollars. There are zero benefits you are allowed to give your employees, period. You're allowed to put them under contract. You're allowed to put them under hourly. You're allowed to put them under salary. You're allowed to put them under these different versions of how you're going to pay them. But all you can do is pay them cash money. That's it. You're not allowed to give them perks or gas allowance or any of these other things. All you're allowed to do is pay them money. Period. Because
definitely change some stuff.
Every single thing that you allow employers to do as a benefit is just another way for employers to put hooks in to keep you there. And I don't think that's a good thing for anybody. Like, honestly, as an employer offering insurance, I don't know. Like, I feel like I kind of have a different level of ownership of you as an employee.
I can't think of any on the top of my head, but if you get some like higher level employment, you have, organizations or employers that actually like fully pay for insurance. Like, you don't pay anything. You just get that as part of like your benefits package or whatever. Right.
It's stock options. There's all sorts of stuff that people tack on there. Because, I mean, like, if you're like, when you get to the higher levels of things, a smart person cares more about those other things than they do about the pay. Like stock options, insurance, deductible allowances, stuff like that. It's way more valuable. 401k things, stuff like that.
Right.
That's another one from the Littman thing. Is like they had a 401k match thing. If I put like, I think it was like up to like $500, maybe $600 a year, $50 a month, they would match it dollar for dollar up to X number of dollars a year. Which again, like okay, from my perspective as an employee when I was working there at the time, it's like, yeah, that's free money for me long term. I'll take that. And at the end of the day, it's mine, and I can take it with me. But it loses a lot of value when I'm not paying into it, and so it's just a hook. It's like it really is. It's just a hook for the employer. Like it is a negative for me to leave that company because I'm basically leaving $500 a year, $600 a year out of investment in a 401k.
The big company I work for, I got a letter. I need to actually track it down. I don't think I put anything towards it, but the company was like put anything towards a 401k for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever put any money into like match it. I think they had some kind of matching offer, but even without me putting money into it, they were doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, again, but like, yes, it is a benefit to you as an individual, 100%. But who actually has the power in that relationship? The employer does. God, I sound like a fucking liberal right now. Matt, happy birthday! Happy birthday, Matt. Cheers. You have not turned me into a Democrat because I've been blaming the Democrats for this whole thing I've been talking about right now. But yes, I mean realistically, like seriously. Like all the things that we allow employers to do that are quote unquote benefits for employees are hooks. This is how I own you as an employee. How about you just come to work and do the job and go home and I give you a certain amount of money for that thing? How about we leave it there?
I can see how them being hooks, but they can also be seen as an actual like added benefit.
No, it's absolutely an added benefit, but that added benefit, what is that? Agreed, but generally, like I would assume, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would assume it's cheaper for the employee than it is for the person to. It's cheaper for the employer to do that than the person could do that on their own.
For insurance, absolutely.
For all sorts of different parts and pieces, but insurance for what? And that's the thing. It's like, so I am the power in the situation as the employer. And so you know as an employee that if you leave this job, you're going to lose this thing. That you can't do better than what I'm giving you.
Right.
That is a hook. That gives me more power and more control over you as the employee. There's no other way to, like, I don't know any other way to, like, say it.
I guess it can be in how it's used. You can have employers that use it as a huge hook to kind of take advantage of you as the employee.
Right, but right, exactly. But so let's take the ability for the bad actors out of play and just say, nobody can do it. If I want to take care of you, if I want to take care of you, I say, okay, hey, I know that you are going out and getting your own insurance, and I'm going to give you you've been a good employee to me. I'm going to give you an extra $100 a month to help offset some of your insurance costs.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, that's exactly what we do. And that's why I set it up that way. Like we just have a kind of a flat way to do it. It's like, you pick whatever you want. This is how much it costs. We get a discount benefit because we're a business as opposed to you as an individual, but we're going to pay the first 100, you pay the rest. That's how we set it up.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can't even get to the base rate, let alone the $100 discount that I give you. And so accidentally that gives me control. So if you would just said, hey, you're not allowed to do that as the employer, I don't have that there's no conversation there. That takes all that employment cost off of me. But you as the employee then go, hey man, I want to work for you, but I got insurance to pay for. I need some help. I'm not asking you to pay for my insurance. I'm just asking you to pay me more.
Right.
And then presumably wages would go up automatically, quickly. The general things wouldn't change, but wages would go up. Now the general life thing would probably be equal. But at least you have the power. You have the control, and it's in your hands as the employee, not in my hands as your employer. Like, I really think how do I say this? I'm an idiot. I think I've said that 1,000 times in the show. But I've not heard anybody say that phrase in that, like, this combination of phrases that we've been talking about. Like, just don't give employers power. Take that off. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense from the left point of view. Like, I get it that, like, I get the starting point of it, of you're taking, like, my labor matters and, you know, the union says that you need to take care of me. It's like, then yes, just argue pay and leave everything else out. Don't argue benefits. Fuck benefits. Fuck pensions. Fuck retirement. Fuck insurance. Just stop. Just stop with all that. Like, so that's the only way I can think of. That's the only solution I can think of. And maybe I'm crazy. Because like just like any major change, it's going to be that initial, everybody's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. But eventually it'll settle down. And when it becomes the norm.
I don't think it would be good to cut out everything, especially pensions. I mean, that's one way, I guess, you can be incentivized as an employee to stay with that company and progress with that company.
Why? Fuck the company, man. Why does the company matter?
I mean, from the company's perspective, it benefits them to have
then let
someone
me pay you.
consistently there.
I'll pay you because you're important, and the value that you add to me is worth me paying you. You pay for your own retirement. If you want to spend that money on a fucking Rolls Royce instead of putting that aside for savings, that's your fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a good employer, I'm going to bring in people that say, hey, here's a retirement savings guy that I think is really cool and he can really help you guys out. I'm going to give you on the clock time to go talk to this guy to set up your own retirement plan. Don't make that my problem. And don't give me that power. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get your point.
Like, if I give a shit about you as an employee and I want you to hang out and stay, then I pay you to stay. Everything else is fucking bullshit. You take care of yourself, I'll take care of me. And if we can mutually get to a place... Why does it hurt
the employer to offer a pension?
Do what?
Why is it hurting the employer to offer a pension?
It's not hurting the employer. It's great for the employer. That's my point. Is we're giving power to the employer that I don't think we should be giving to. We shouldn't have normalized that. I mean, it has been a problem. I agree. It's been a problem in the workforce that we are looking at nowadays in this new, like, loyalty doesn't matter thing is a problem. It's not great. But good business is going to react to that intelligently on their own. And they have. They figured out ways to do it. And they're going to continue to figure out ways to do it. Some of that's not great, like AI is going to take over a lot of jobs that you're not loyal to me, I'll just replace you with a computer. Okay, cool. Keep moving on. But, you know, like, why would 20 years from now be my carrot to you as an employee instead of tomorrow? You take care of your own 20 years from now. I want to keep you here. I'm going to figure out how to keep you here. Why does your retirement matter to me? If your retirement matters to you, then you negotiate that with me, not with me paying for your retirement. It's for me paying for you so you can pay for your own retirement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea.
I just think, I know
you keep on viewing it as, you know, not giving the employer that power or whatever, but I mean, that quote-unquote power could be used benevolently.
It could be. But if you're a benevolent employer in that sense, then you would just do it in cash dollars. I'll pay you $25 an hour instead of $20 because I want you to be happy here. And if that extra $5 an hour you can spend in the way you want to, whether it's retirement or insurance or paid time off, like PTO doesn't make sense to me either in the same way. It's like, why would I pay you to not be here? So it doesn't make any sense. Like that's a benefit that doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because I'm paying you to do a job. Come do the job and then don't be here. If I wanted to, okay, so just dollars and cents wise, if I'm going to give you 40 hours, if I'm going to give you 1 week PTO as an employee, if you work 52 weeks a year, I could just raise your pay whatever percent, and it's the same number to me. And you just take a week off. What's the difference? You're in control instead of me. Okay, cool. I don't own your time. You don't have to give me all of your hours. If you want to take a week off, take a week off. If the job that I'm presenting to you doesn't give you the option of ever taking, like, if we took PTO off of the norm, if like we made it illegal to do PTO, then the question when you're in an interview is like, hey, I'm really good. I have all this education and I have all this experience in exactly what you're asking me to do. But every November, me and my boys go out to Middle Tennessee and we hopefully kill some animals. And it's important to me that I go do that. I want to make sure that you're okay with me taking that time off. Okay. I'm not going to pay you for that time. Okay, well, how about you pay me $22.50 instead of $22.25 a year or a month or whatever the math is. Just do the math. It's all math at that point. Doesn't make a difference. I pay you $100,000 a year to do a job. If it takes you, if it's $100,000 a year to do the job, and that's 50 weeks that I'm paying you $100,000 for, then that's 50 weeks I'm paying you $100,000 for.
Isn't that how it works out for salaried employees anyway?
I mean, if you give them PTO, yeah.
I mean, even without PTO, they're still paying you
but I've heard of salary jobs that don't give you vacation. Like, you're not allowed to take days off. You know, I mean, but as I'm saying, you're like it would be, the agreement would be you're working for $100,000 a year for 50 weeks a year. You're allowed to take 2 weeks off. Okay. It just makes, I mean, it's again, it's all math on anything but like most of it's all math anyway, even insurance, even pensions and all that stuff. It's just math. Just do the math backwards and take all of these other things that I can hold on to you because you're dependent on me for it. Take those off of me and just give me a flat number to pay you to do the job. I'll go to Max on, perfect example would be Max on schools. Max on schools is the first day of school. He hates the first day of school because when the kids come home for the first day of school, it's a bunch of paperwork he has to sign and a bunch of checks he has to write. It's like, how about you just give me one number and I'll pay you that much and be done with it. Like, why do we have to do this, like, $5 here, $15 there, $20 here? You're making up all these fees or whatever. Just give me a number and move on. Well, as an employer and employee, just give me a number. Let's move on. Forget all this other stuff. Don't give me reasons and excuses and potentials of why and this, that, and there. Just give me a fucking number. Let's be done.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, it really doesn't. And I'm an employer, and I should love these things because I own my employees for it. I have at least 2 employees that if we didn't offer insurance, I wouldn't have as much control over them as I do. And I don't want the control over them. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like, it's the insurance matters to them. And they have they would have to go find a job and work the requisite probation period or whatever the new employer calls it before they even have a chance to get the insurance to that new place.
Right.
So they would have to be uninsured for a period of time if they left working for me. One of them I would like to quit. I would prefer they quit. And there's like I'm pretty. I don't know. I am fairly confident that one of them would like to quit, but they need the insurance that we pitch in on, and I would like them to quit. Like, we're both fucked because of the situation we're in. Like, how screwed up is that? It's a lose-lose somehow. Ah.
Did you see the local story about, I think, is it Carringer that's a national GOP rep?
Michelle Carringer?
I think so.
She is the...
Is she the East Tennessee?
No, she is the state rep for Northeast Knox County.
Okay, I was thinking, who's the federal one? I saw a story about it. Apparently, there was some of her constituents weren't happy that they were kind of getting BS results whenever they tried to like reach out to her office.
Like what?
Which I think it said her office was in Johnson City. I thought it was a federal rep.
Your sheriff's Carringer?
I thought that's who it was.
No, care.
WATE story.
Right, Rep Michelle Carringer. So I was thinking of.
Yeah. She's a state rep?
Yeah, she's a state rep for District 16, which is part of Knox County. You know, I've gotten into short hair, but she doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, maybe it was complaints against. Because I want to say they were complaining to her about the shutdown, which I don't know why they would kind of complain to a state rep about it.
She went to Central. She went to the University of Tennessee College of Communications. She's a Knox County Sheriff's Citizens Academy cadet. She's at the DA's Academy. She did a bunch of academies. I want to know about these academies. I need to go do an academy. Look like good resume points for me to run for mayor. You ready to do the paperwork? It's not hard, man. Just do the paperwork. You want to come do the parade? Are you going to come do the parade with us? You don't have to talk. Come do the parade, man.
Now, here's a story about the Figured high school vandalism. I guess suspects sought by a sheriff's department.
Yeah.
I told
Don't fuck with Farragut.
Let me find that story real quick.
What story?
It was about the representative. I thought it was a national rep. Which I've heard you mention as well. When you reach out, you just kind of get that BS response. It's like, thank you for your comments.
Yeah. Oh, she's a former Girl Scout leader. Look at you. God, look at this resume. God damn, I can't run for office. Look at this. Her community involvement, since we're looking at Michelle Carringer while you're looking up that thing, she's the House member of the 112th through the 114th General Assembly, former first vice president of the Knoxville Academy of Medicine Alliance. She's a sustaining member of the Akima Club of Knoxville, a member of the National Rifle Association, member of the North Knoxville Business and Professionals. Ooh, I need to talk to her about that. Member of Powell Business Professionals, former member of the Halls Crossroad Women's League, former member of the Knox County Foster Care Review Board, former member of Knox County Career Technical Education, former Girl Scout leader, former president of the University of Tennessee Delta Moms Club, executive committee member, 2014 Congressional Medal of Honor Committee, board member, Metro Drug Coalition, board member, East Tennessee Epilepsy Foundation, board member, Three Ridges Golf Course, former board member, Broadway Corridor Task Force, former board member, Saratoga Club, former board member, Saratoga Center My Life Board, former board member, Free Medical Clinic of America, former board member, Fountain City Town Hall, secretary, Fountain City Lions Club, vice president, Fountain City Company, member, Powell. I'm fucking done. Well, did you find your thing yet? Because I can't keep reading this bullshit. She has one honor of recipient of the National Foundation of Women Legislators 2022 Women of Excellence Award. She is the chair of the Population Health Subcommittee. She's a member of the Ed Subcommittee of Extraordinary Session, member of the Health Committee, member of the Immigration. Come on, man. You're killing me.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
I can't keep reading this trash.
See, I guess it was the Knoxville Police Department put out a statement. I guess they did kind of a big sweep of Central, the old city, in the last couple days. Arrested 30, 40 people.
For what?
Loitering. I guess they were trying to cut back on some of the drunk and disorderly that's been going on, and I guess aggressive panhandling. I think they got most people for loitering. A couple other drug charges.
I mean, I'm complicated. It's a complicated spot for me.
Right.
Be free, motherfuckers, but quit bothering my business and fucking with my customers. Well, all right. Well, that gets us to...
Let's see here.
I'm feeling saucy tonight. Like, I just feel saucy.
Oh, not politics.
I don't know. Like, I think that dumbass rant and raving about forcing employers to have power over employees is a mistake. We need to figure out how to start ruling. That to me is a starting point to fixing a lot of shit. But then AI screws all that up, so I don't even know anymore. Because we have to talk about AI. All right. Anyway, you were getting weird.
I think I actually saw some pictures of this. Okay. Giant floating pumpkin races draw large crowds to annual event in Oregon.
I know. Somebody showed me some footage of that, and the first thing they said was, don't do it.
It looks like they would barely float, but I mean, there's like one person at least on it, kind of like half paddling.
Oh yeah, I've seen some videos of it. It's cool. It's fun. I love that shit. I love it. I think did we talk about it last week? The bike thing, the Red Bull bikes, the two person bike thing.
I don't think so.
So apparently Red Bull did the greasy pole
Downtown, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the other ones that Red Bull does is, it's a bicycle built for two, but not a standard bicycle built for two. And they build a bridge that's about 10 feet over the water, and it has different things that you have to ride over. But essentially, it's same thing. Same thing as a derby. Same thing as the, what's the Flotog? Dragon boat races, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, it's just build some crazy thing and be silly. I love those things. I love all of them. I would love to do the glider thing down the river. I think it'd be great.
Is that the one where you kind of like bike off
it's like a
drop off and you see how far you can go?
It's like a 20-foot platform, and you build whatever contraption you want within the rules, and it's whoever goes the furthest or stays up in the air the longest. I don't know what the rules specifically are. It's just fun stuff to do. Speaking of, I'm trying to launch our youth set for the Derby. So if you've got kids that are 12 to 17 and you want to come race the Derby with us, we've got a youth division that we're starting. So check that out. It'll be fun and crazy. I mean, it's just fun, stupid stuff. I mean, I don't know. Am I weird? I don't think I'm weird.
No.
I think it's fun. We can flex our brains. We can, like the other one I want. Like the other one that's kind of on my list of things that I would like to try to do is it's that Dutch one. The Dutch kind of pole vaulty thing.
Don't know.
It's like it's something about like it's like a canal crossing. I think that's where it functionally started. It was like in the Netherlands, all these canals and stuff. And so, like, these shepherds and farmers would just walk around with a pole.
Yeah.
And when they'd come to the canal, they'd just, kind of
pole vault
across the canal. And it became this thing where these guys are running down this pier, and they jump and they grab the pole and they climb as high as they can on the pole, and it falls the other way. It's like a weird modified long jump. There's the English one with the cheese wheel race. That's another fun one that I would love to, like, it's just, like... The ones that have, like the Dutch one has tradition, the cheese wheel has tradition. I wouldn't want to steal that.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, that's what the fucking running of the bulls is. It's just some stupid tradition that's crazy and fun. But is it internationally important? Like parts of that are, like, World Heritage stuff.
Is it?
It's just, like, it's that, like, I don't know. There's how many billion people on this planet? A good percentage of that.
6.
A good percentage of those billions of people know about the running of the bulls. Because it's fun and it's silly and stupid, and there's something wrong with us as a species that it's fun to do. I mean, it's gladiatorial games. It's the Olympics. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. All right, one more. Let's close this up. I can't reach the button. I'm lazy. In fact, I can't.
This one was kind of weird, I guess. You got 3 escaped monkeys after a truck overturns on Mississippi Highway.
Love it. Nothing better than primates on the loose.
It's like most of them died in the crash.
That sucks.
I also saw another story about them being aggressive. So most of the 21 were killed, but haven't elaborated on just what occurred. They don't know where they were coming from and whose they were. They're rhesus monkeys. They're among the most medically studied animals on the planet.
No. All right, this sucks. Never mind. Cancel. Next. Move on.
Yeah, okay.
It's got depressing. I was excited about escaped monkeys. I was not excited about dead and medically tested. God, humans suck. But are also awesome. I like people. I hate people.
Dozens of costume canines get their chance to trick-or-treat at Holloween event in Michigan.
And where?
Michigan.
I'm tired of dog people. I hate dog people.
Michigan's capital. Friday is part of the annual Holloween event organized by a local pet store.
I mean, I like that kind of shit. I do. I love that kind of stuff. Again, it's the same stuff. Like, simple, dumb stuff that just makes people happy. Just be happy.
Yeah.
I love that. Hope Knoxville had a safe, happy Halloween. I hope everybody's out there having a good time on Halloween. I hope we take dark mode to the Sooner Fuck You.
Is that who they're playing tomorrow?
We're going dark mode. I love it. I love our dark mode. It's good. It's sexy.
It does look nice.
So Tennessee's going dark mode on the Sooners tomorrow, and I hope they take that to a win. The Vegas thinks they're going to win, but only by a little bit. And not by a ton of points.
Was Vegas close to right on the whoever we played last week? Old Miss or?
We didn't play Ole Miss last week. Who did we play last week? No. We only were like 5 or 6 point favorites, and we blew that one out.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, Oklahoma's legit, but they're also not really an SEC team, but they're an SEC team now, so there's that whole thing.
Is Vandy outranking us right now?
I believe they are. I'm a little worried. I think my 9 wins. I think it's 9 wins. Let me look it up. Make sure I'm not misquoting my own gambling predilection. I took Tennessee to win 8.5. I took over 8.5 on Tennessee's win-loss record, and it's very, very ominous right now.
Look no good.
I mean, it's not bad. But Tennessee is currently... Show me my shiz. There it is. Tennessee is currently 6-2. But we have Oklahoma, which, to be fair, is a coin flip. We have New Mexico State, which should be a win. So that gets us to 7-3, maybe 8-3. And then Florida, which as much as Florida sucks, we have a good tendency to lose to Florida even when they suck. And then we have Vandy, who is usually a gimme, ain't going to be a gimme this year. So I got 4 games left to win 3. So if we beat Oklahoma tomorrow, I'm going to be feeling really good about my bet. If we lose Oklahoma tomorrow, I'm going to be stressing it. Because if we lose, we have to win out for my 8.5 to win. So, anyway, that's the show, people. Yeah, I rudely shoved a Tootsie Roll in my mouth right at the end. I've been eyeballing it the whole show. Tootsie Rolls are what I steal out of my kids' bag when they go Halloween trick-or-treating, so you're welcome. I could have been doing it the whole show because my kids don't like Tootsie Rolls as much as I do, so they give them to me because my kids are awesome. Anyway, almost agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Podcast provider. Share with your friends. Do the things you can do to help the show. We're going to keep doing what we do. We hope you tune in next week for another episode of Nothingness and More. This Tootsie Roll is kicking my ass right now. All right, bye, everybody. Thank you. Oh, yeah, go vote on Tuesday. If you haven't voted already. Forget about that. It's important. Or it's not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Don't vote. Government's dumb. Oh, man, that Tootsie Roll really took it to me.